It has been a heartbreaking few days for several families across central Indiana.
In just the past week, 3 people were killed, and all of these cases were related to or being investigated as situations of domestic violence.
All of these cases have ties between relationships between the victims and the suspects. In fact, on June 2nd, a woman was found dead in her apartment in Greenwood, allegedly shot by her co-worker, who she's believed to have been in a relationship with. Then on June 3rd, a woman is alleged to have used GPS tracking to a north side bar where police say she ran over and killed her boyfriend. Then just this morning, 27-year-old Kyle Rigdon was in court. He's accused of hitting his ex-girlfriend Kayla Bowling with his car while she was biking last Wednesday along South Rural Street. She later died.
So when you add all that up, of course, you're going to see what we saw, a very concerning trend of intimate partner abuse that has turned deadly right here in our community. So today, Rachel Krause joins us live in studio. She's learned a little bit more about that cyclist case, and she pored over the court records today and learned that this is not the first time the driver of the vehicle has been accused of hurting a partner. This is a red flag here, Rachel.
Yeah, and court records show that Kyle Rigdon was arrested back in 2017 for walking into an ex-girlfriend's home, pushing her face against the door and preventing her from leaving the room or calling police. He pled guilty to domestic battery and was given a year of probation. He violated that probation and received 60 days of home detention. Now, 3 years later, police say Rigdon hurt and this time killed a different ex-girlfriend in a hit and run. 3 days, 3 people dead in central Indiana, allegedly at the hands of their current or former partners.
It's a very concerning trend and it's heartbreaking. So we know domestic violence is preventable, and all 3 of these homicides could have been prevented, and those families wouldn't have had to lose a loved one and have their lives torn apart.
Kelly McBride, executive director of the Domestic Violence Network, says domestic violence reports skyrocketed during the pandemic. Isolation from quarantine, job loss, and increased drug and alcohol use believed to have contributed to that spike.
We did see a huge increase during COVID, up to 200% in some zip codes. We've seen a little dip recently, but not enough to really say it's decreasing by any means. We're still seeing quite a few calls to IMPD and for assistance, and then we're seeing homicides continue to escalate as well, unfortunately.
A report released in April by the Domestic Violence Network found domestic violence related calls made to IMPD jumped from 18,000 in 2019 up to more than 30,000 in 2020. And those numbers aren't dropping. The Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence reported 98 intimate partner violence-related fatalities from 2020 to 2021, a 181% increase from the previous year. McBride says those numbers could be much higher.
It's the most underreported crime there is, but we know 1 in 3 women and 1 in 7 men will be victims of domestic violence. So combine those, 1 in 5 people are affected by domestic violence. That's a lot of individuals. It's a lot of community members who are impacted.
Domestic abuse reports involving intimate partnerships taken by IMPD hit more than 6,000 in 2021, and they've taken just over 2,400 reports so far this year. McBride says if you believe you or your loved ones may be in danger, reach out for help. Resources are available and advocates are ready to help get you and your family to a safe place.
It can be really scary making that first step, but it's so brave of individuals who do make that first step and just call.
Rigdon was in court this morning, the first time he came before a judge since his arrest on Friday for his alleged role in the hit and run that killed Kayla Bowling last week. A judge granting a 72-hour delay to prosecutors to allow more time for them to formally charge Rigdon for some of those events. And some of Bowling's loved ones were there in the courtroom this morning, there to make sure that justice for Kayla is being served.
Yeah, your heart really breaks for all these families impacted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rachel, thank you.
We do have resources for victims of domestic violence posted along with this story on our website right now. All you have to do is head there at WTHR.com.